Welcome to your throat chakra. As you might be able to guess, the color of your throat chakra is turquoise. See, I even have a cute little owl in my hair. Turquoise blue owl for knowing and wisdom. Your throat chakra is obviously here, where your throat is, front, back, and all the way around. This is your communication center. It is through your throat chakra that you share your stories, that you declare your boundaries, your needs, and your wants. It's here that you express your limitless beliefs about what's possible for yourself in your life, as well as the limiting beliefs that you hold to be true about what is possible or impossible for you. As a communication center, it is connected in with the ears, which also have their own chakras, because as you speak, others listen. As others speak, you listen. The color that's associated with it is turquoise, as I said, and I'm wearing lots of that right now. The organs that are affected by your throat chakra, of course, any of the organs that are connected to the throat. So the esophagus, the trachea, the pyrothyroid, the neck vertebrae, mouth, jaw, teeth, the tongue. No, I really didn't just stick my tongue out at you. The sense is hearing, so that's connecting again, of course, from the communicating to the listening. The element is the ether. Think of it this way. It's your breath. Your breath, when you speak, goes out into the ether. The aromatherapy blend that I use in my throat chakra spray and the other throat chakra products is a blend of lemon and peppermint. And actually, before I sat down to do this video, I used my throat chakra spray just like that. Breathe it in, spraying it on my throat, connecting to how my throat is feeling, and opening up my throat chakra so that my communication may be clear and succinct. We'll see how that goes for the rest of the video. The energy connection is the power of choice and communication. The action is the maturation of will. So that is the sitting in the knowing. Remember the knowing coming from here, from your heart and from your solar plexus, becomes expressed or becomes expression through your throat chakra, and that connects you to your needs and your wants, which is an expression of your will. And standing in those needs and wants is a reflection of your will. The primary fear when your throat chakra is not in balance, it will manifest as using your willpower over others or having others use their willpower over you. The fear of not being heard or acknowledged, and the fear of releasing control to a higher power or higher sense of self or source. When the throat chakra is in balance, your experiences include that of having faith, knowing that you can speak your mind, your will, your truth, and your authenticity, self-knowledge and personal authority, the capacity to make a choice and trust it to be your experience. So this is one of your trust centers. Your trust centers include your heart, your throat, your third eye, and your crown. And we'll talk about third eye and crown when we get to those videos. So some of the characteristics of your throat chakra include the space in which you hold your stories and your beliefs about yourself. Remember the limiting beliefs and limitless beliefs. Where you hold your truths from which you make your choices. Any and every choice that you ever make in your life comes from your experience, and the clearer you are with what your truth is, the easier it is for you to make choices and decisions. It is also the understanding of the energy consequences of your thoughts and your beliefs and your actions. So this is tying into this knowing that your thoughts eventually become your actions, and what you think is really important because it sends out a vibration into the universe, and the universe will show up with a similar matching vibration of what it is you're thinking. And your thought process is your internal communication. So that internal communication is also connected into your throat chakra. And it is one of the characteristics that's really important is that it provides for you the genuine and complete healing that requires total honesty with yourself. So when we say that this is a trust center, this is also a truth center. How truthful are you being about yourself at any given moment of the day? And somebody says to you, how are you? Do you respond with, I'm fine, when really you're not? Or you're more than fine and you want to express that. So When someone says, how are you? You can say, I'm actually having, kind of a down day. And now you're being really honest with them and you're opening up lines of communication. Or I'm having an awesome day. I feel terrific today. Again, opens up those lines of communication as long as what you're saying is true for where you find yourself in that moment. Okay, so looking then to how can we balance the throat chakra? How can we show up in our authentic self and with a clear communication and a clear understanding of who we are and how we are in the world? So this is less of a visualization than it is a grocery list, if you will, of ways in which you can connect with your throat chakra as you go through your day. So first one is to make no judgments of yourself or others, and to understand that everyone is simply in their story. So one of the exercises that my students of the Confident Healer program get to do is a day of non-judgment. And this is where I invite them to put a day on their calendar ahead of time, so 3 or 4 days ahead from when the assignment goes out, or a week, and make sure that they have that day of non-judgment on their calendar so that as they approach it, they can begin to work with what that feels like as they move towards that day of non-judgment, and then to be really committed in that day to simply observe rather than judge themselves as well as others. And some of the most amazing experiences come up from that. So that might be something that you would want to try as well, day of non-judgment. Have no expectations. Always work with the energy of this or something better. So you have a vision, you have a goal, you express that goal through your throat chakra, and then you state to your higher self in the universe, this or something better. That's relinquishing control right in that moment, where you've put out the intention that began with the thought process and then came out through the verbal, and then you allow it to unfold in the highest good for all involved. Learn to trust that the unscheduled events of your life are a form of spiritual direction, right? So feel that for a moment. You hit every red light between you and the doctor's appointment, and you know you're going to be late for your doctor's appointment, and you get really frustrated, and you're feeling really anxious, and maybe you're getting angry, and now you're driving recklessly, you're not paying attention to the road, and you're making it all about you. What if those stoplights were turning red as a symbology of slow down, stop, it's going to be fine, don't worry? What if those stoplights are turning red so that you miss the intersection in which a possible car accident was going to happen or does happen, and it isn't meant to be for you, and so those stoplights are slowing you down purposefully? And recognize that as a form of higher self or spirit guiding you and speaking to you. Anytime things come up that feel like they're getting in your way, just take a step back and ask, is this for my highest good? And then pay attention to the answer that comes into that question. Develop the courage to make the choices you need to make, accept what you cannot change, and have the wisdom to know the difference. So you've heard of a version of that, I'm sure, elsewhere. The important point with this one is to develop the courage you need to make the choices that you need to make in your life. It does take an enormous amount of courage to make those big choices for yourself, following your heart and then moving that wisdom up into your throat chakra and expressing it with the choices that you make. And then lastly, ask to learn to speak your truth in all things. It isn't always an easy process to speak our truth. We can say that intellectually, but you may not even realize the places where you aren't being truthful, especially if you've lived in that illusion or that limiting belief, that limiting core belief for your whole life. You may not even know that you aren't telling yourself the truth. And then how can you possibly tell the others the truth if you don't know what that truth is for yourself? So ask to learn how to know your truth and speak it in all ways. Just quickly, I want to share a story with you about my throat chakra and how a major event in my life around my throat is actually what created the opportunity for me to write The Heart's Journey, the Healing Hearts Oracle Cards and Guidebook. I had suffered from chronic throat issues my whole life. Bronchitis, strep throat, pneumonia, you name it. If it was going around, I got it and it went here. And finally, at the age of 44, after having been desperately sick for about 11 months, I went to see a throat specialist, and he said, basically, you have tonsillitis, and you need to get those tonsils out, or you can choose to have those tonsils taken out. And he also said to me, I wouldn't wish this surgery on my worst enemy, and I kind of like you, so are you sure you want to do this? And I said, yes, I do. I don't want to show up in the world this way anymore. And I'd done enough of my own energetic work to also recognize that sometimes the body needs our help and assistance, and this was one of those times. My tonsils were tired. They were done. They needed to be removed. Long story short, worst case scenario, I hemorrhaged a couple of days after the surgery, got airlifted back to the hospital, had to redo the surgery, the cauterizing, and spent 3 days in hospital unable to speak. And it was during those 3 days that I was able to channel the information and the experiences that are each of the cards in the Healing Hearts Oracle card deck that comes with the Heart's Journey. It was as though the final piece of my healing in finding my voice was that I had to dramatically lose my voice and almost my life, not to over-dramatize, but truly, in order to trust my own voice, my own inner voice, as it came through in the channeled messages for those oracle cards. So it's not necessarily a small feat to work with your throat chakra and to really truly learn how to embrace your own communication and your own truth. So today I invite you to be in the energy of your throat chakra. I invite you to consciously connect with your truth each time you speak today, and notice how different it might be from the way in which you normally speak of yourself or tell your story. Enjoy the beautiful energy of turquoise, and I look forward to seeing you when we move into our next chakra video.